The Golden Bear is on his way to becoming the first golfer in history to win tournaments on the PGA and Senior PGA Tours in the same year. He could do it at the USF&G Classic, Thursday and Friday live on ESPN.
While Oakland is the lone unbeaten road team in baseball, the A's have earned B's for their work at home. On Sunday afternoon, the Athletics went after their 5th victory in 7 tries at the Coliseum, as the Mariners were looking for a split of this series. It's pretty good action, but it was a rough day, though. Call this one a overcast day in Oakland. Scott Sanderson, top of the first, a leadoff walk to Harold Reynolds. One batter later, facing Alvin Davis. Sanderson 40 pitches in the first inning. Next batter, Jeffrey Leonard would make him pay for his charity. Looked like it was just going to be a routine fly ball. It just continued to drift. Davis and Leonard would later score. It was 3-0. Eric Hansen, that's Eric with a K. Just ask Mike Gallego. And Ken Phelps, frozen by the curveball. Hansen and the Mariners win it by the final of 5-2. Hansen and Mike Jackson combining for a 7-hitter. Hansen had 7 strikeouts in 6 1/3 innings. Walt Weiss homered for the first time this season. Bob?
The Royals and the Blue Jays. A lot of folks expect them to be meeting in October, but Kansas City's April has been one long shower, and these first 2 games in Toronto were all wet losses. Sunday, Kansas City sending the only non-millionaire among its starting pitchers, Tom Flash Gordon, after the Blue Jays, and Flash watching as Bo Jackson settled in. Remember, he had 32 home runs last year. Here in the top of the first with Kevin Saintzer on first. There it goes. Fishing on the curve. It's not bodacious like back on the lawn in Kansas City, but it's out nonetheless. Top of the third, Jim Eisenreich had a 2-run single in this game, and then takes John Cerruti out to make it a 4-0 Royals lead, while Tom Gordon freezing John Olerud, the rookie DH. Flash is 4-0 lifetime against the Blue Jays. Tony Fernandez had an infield single. The hit streak is now at 12 games. 7-0 the final score, and the way it should be for KC. Jeff Montgomery and Mark Davis finishing up. Cerruti is now 1-2. Indians going for 3 in a row against the White Sox, and they get it. 8 very strong innings for Bud Black. Gave up only 1 earned run. Cleveland wins it 5-2. Corey Snyder breaks out of a slump with a 2-run homer, and Felix Fermin had his first professional home run, a mighty blow of 321 feet over the 320 marker. Rangers trying to sweep 3 from the Yankees, and the Yankees have had a roller coaster season. Harold Baines continuing the ups and downs for the boys from the Bronx. A 2-out error by Tim Leary and a walk all in the first inning brings Baines up, and 403 feet later, see ya. His first extra base hit since opening day. Texas up 5-2 in the 8th. Mel Hall gets the green sign, and it's gone off of Kevin Brown, and the Ranger lead is down to 5-4. So they bring in Dave Rigetti in the bottom of the 8th to try and hold the fort. Mike Stanley. The door to the fort is open. Good night. 3-run shot. Rafael Palmeiro followed with another home run that inning, and the Rangers stopped the Yanks 10-4. Kevin Brown 7 1/3 innings, dodging 11 hits. Jeff Russell got his 4th save. The Yankees have lost 5 straight and their last 7 games in Arlington, Texas.
The Angels have the arms, but does California have the legs to keep up with the A's and the Royals? After dropping 4 straight, including 2 against the Twins, manager Doug Rader looked to the bench for help. He found utility man Donnie Hill and Kent Anderson. Hill had 3 hits today, but it was the Twins getting the big hit early. In the 3rd, Twins up 1-0. Dan Gladden rips this single to left field. Al Newman scores. Twins up 2-0, and Angel manager Doug Rader preparing for the worst. It would get a little bit better in the 5th. Brian Downing muscles this one to left, scores Max Venable. And Kent Anderson coming plateward. Brian Harper's got the ball, but not for long. Anderson with the collision, he sinks. It's 2 apiece. Angels up 4-2 in the 9th. Chili Davis singles with the bases loaded. Anderson will score. California went on to pick up the victory. By the final of 5-2, Chuck Finley improves to 3-0 despite giving up his first earned run of the year. Anderson gave up 3 runs in 6 2/3, lost for the 2nd time this season to Memorial Stadium. The Tigers look for 2 in a row versus the O's in Earth Day. Jack Morris saying it's not to these birds. Cecil Fielder, a 2-run homer, staking the O's to a 2-0 lead. And then, bottom of the 8th, Craig Worthington with a home run. The game would go into extra innings. The O's loaded the bases. Mike Henneman, he'd bring in 1. It proved to be the game winner. Anderson draws the walk. Baltimore draws the victory. They win it by the final of 3-2. In the 4-game series, Detroit pitchers handed out 35 walks, including 12 on Sunday. Morris didn't pitch bad, 6 strong innings. He did give up a home run to Joe Orsulak starting the 7th, but Detroit now has lost 19 straight series away from home.
Ooh. Next, the rest of the ultimate day in the NBA regular season.
Sunday, a day of rest for Charles Barkley, not by his choice, but his mates were in action. Philly fills in, or tries to, and SportsCenter returns.
Everybody made it to the wedding. Lester, Bridget, Sid and Bubbles flew in. Even Donnie got special leave from the Navy. They all found the time. Too bad you had to work.
Konica copiers, they just work all the time.
After the scraping, Afta soothes. After the burning, Afta soothes. Afta Aftershave Skin Conditioner. Nothing's more soothing. Afta.
I'm in.
Top to bottom, anti-collision lights on and rotating.
Checking rudder control.
Rudder full left, rudder full right, rudder neutral.
Checking elevator control.
Elevators full up.
Be a part of the team that keeps America strong. There's a place for you in today's Air Foce Reserve.
Back to the NBA, and imagine when this year began, having tickets to the regular season finale between the Sixers and Celtics, and thinking this game could decide the Atlantic Division. Well, when reality set in, the game meant absolutely nothing, and the game was minus the stars for both teams. Charles Barkley sitting this one out, a 1-game suspension, while Larry Bird just trying to sit comfortably. He's had that abscess on his rear end. Rick Mahorn, one of the combatants in that Detroit brawl, getting beat up by one of his own coaches. First quarter, Hersey Hawkins, game-high 24 from 3. Good. Kevin McHale saying, come on, Kaminsky, it's just a game. The last game, who cares? McHale, though, had a big afternoon. He had 22, getting his own rebound. Sixers missing Charles Barkley. The Celtics didn't miss. Reggie Lewis for the hoop. Celtics win at 118-98. Boston won 9 of its last 10. And they also set an NBA market free throw percentage, surpassing the Bucks' record of last season. Boston shooting 83% from the line this year. The playoff-bound Pacers closed out their regular season with a 10-point win over the Bullets at the Cap Center. Indiana had 6 players in double figures. They finished the season, regular season, 42-40. The second time in franchise history they have finished above 500 in the league.
The Bulls and the Pistons got a good long last look at each other in the game that essentially meant nothing, unless you realize Chicago and Detroit may have a May meeting that may mean a great deal more. Today, the Bulls closing out the Palace in the regular season. Bill Lambert back in after the 1-game suspension. Did he practice at all during the suspension? What do you think? Yeah. First half, Joe Dumars to Dennis Rodman at halftime. The Pistons by 6. Chicago running. Scottie Pippen puts it home. The Bulls leading it late, but luck on the side of the Pistons, like Vinnie Johnson's lucky bounce. Hello. And the Pistons rallied to take the lead. Joe Dumars spiriting past Craig Hodges with a shot and the foul. Pistons win it by 5. Yes, it was Earth Day all over. Michael doesn't win the game, but he wins the scoring title. 7 Pistons in double figures, 111-106. The Pistons have won 5 straight home games now against the Bulls. Bulls play the Bucks, and the Pistons play the Pacers in the first round. Lakers close out a regular season with the second most victories in the Magic Johnson era. Magic did not start this game against Portland. No reason given. I think he's earned a night off. Denver clinching the 7-hole with a 7-point victory at home against the Timberwolves. Michael Adams at 32. Nuggets play the Spurs in the next round. Nuggets swept all 5 from Minnesota. Mavericks have rehired interim head coach Richie Adubato for next season. They announced that before this game with Charlotte. Game the Mavericks won by 11, behind 17 from Roy Tarpley, the guy most responsible for Richie's new contract. And we knew you were wondering. Chris Dudley, 5 of 7 from the floor, 20 rebounds, but 0 for 6 from the line. He tried the jump shot tonight. It didn't work. The Magic beat the Nets. The Nets finished with a worse record than the Magic, and the Nets finish in the basement of the Atlantic, a game behind Miami. Michael Ansley had 26.
You know Chris Dudley is headed for Letterman.
jump shots.
Yes.
Take a couple of steps behind the line, and they kept bouncing right off the back of the iron.
Letterman will challenge Chris Dudley. But coming up, our Sunday evening conversation, we will give you plenty of time to get to know Prime Time. The proud new father talks about his new attitude and his dual sports.
Because I'm enjoying the game of baseball right now. I'm not playing a lot, but I'm looking at Don Malley and that one feeling sexy, and I'm just learning a lot right now. I'm really enjoying the game. And, you know, that salary Donnie got, it helped a lot also.
Yeah.
Research has shown that if you confine an animal in a small space for an extended period of time, he will become an animal. But put him in a big room with comfortable furniture, full kitchen, and a home-like atmosphere, and he'll become almost human. Something to consider on your next extended business trip. Residence Inn. People who travel for a living live here.
The struggle for excellence is the spirit behind running a business. It's the only way to run an airline. At Northwest, helping you do business is putting us on the fast track. In all we do, we're striving to jump the line from the merely good to being great. Because being the best is the only thing we want to be.
Ball tonight. The crack of the bat and the bounce of the ball. The roar of the crowd and the umpires call. Baseball I can recommend. Sliding home on ESPN. Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Suicide squeezes, home runs, and double plays.
The Angels face the Red Sox. Then the Cubs take on the Padres. Live in a Tuesday night doubleheader.
Baseball tonight on ESPN.
This portion of SportsCenter and Sunday's Conversation is brought to you by Days Inns, Hotels, Suites, and Day Stops, the best hotel values in the world.
Well, this past Tuesday, we sent ESPN's Robin Roberts to Detroit to interview Deion Primetime Sanders, who was there playing with the Yankees. The problem was Deion wasn't there. He was in Atlanta to be with his fiancée, who was going into labor. Robin finally caught up with Deion on Thursday in Atlanta, where he was there with his new baby girl, Deandra.
Deion, I understand you wanted to put a little more jewelry on her than that, just that one piece that's on her right now?
I wanted to put a lot more things on her, but they told me it was a little girl, so I got to be kind of conservative. So we went with the conservative pieces.
I can see the change, because you were saying usually you'd have a little more jewelry on.
Yeah, a little more jewelry, shades, hat.
What's this?
After last year, we went with we're going to go to a whole new image anyway. You know, this is the new 1990 prime time. A lot more conservative and a lot of style this year. We're going to do it the same way, but it's going to be a lot better.
Let's get back to baseball for a little bit, since we aren't in baseball season. The lockout helped you in that it expanded the roster.
Right.
It increased your chances of being up with the team and starting off the year like you're doing. When the roster is cut, has there been any indication on what's going to happen, what your status is going to be with the Yankees?
No, not really. They really haven't given me any indication that I will go down or be option out to Columbus, but hopefully that won't happen. If it do, you know, I just have to go down there and play ball and tell Bucky I'll be back shortly, but hopefully they will keep me along and let me get in there every now and then to show what I could do.
What's your status? Is that going to have any effect on the Falcons if you're playing up with the majors as opposed to kicking around the minors?
Matter of fact, I went over there today to visit some of the guys, take them a few cigars, and I talked to some of the owners and the Smiths, and I told them it's going to be really interesting. It's going to be really interesting. I'll just say it's going to be really interesting when August comes.
So you're not committing yourself, saying definitely you're going to be here with the Falcons? It's up in the air as to when you'll play?
I'm not going to say that because I'm enjoying the game of baseball right now. I'm not playing a lot, but I'm looking at Don Malley and guys one feeling sexy, and I'm just learning a lot right now. I'm really enjoying the game. And, you know, that salary Donnie got, it helped a lot also.
Yeah.
So baseball has really been appealing to me a lot more.
Yeah, you got to think, you know, she's going to be in college before you know it.
No, she's going to be in college before you know it. Then she's going to need a limo or a Lamborghini then, and I got to do what I can to get it.
What is it like with Steinbrenner? I mean, he's so vocal, he's so media conscious.
Everyone says, you know, everyone asks me, how is George, how is Mr. Steinbrenner? And I always answer, he's been damn good to me, so I have no complaints, you know. I see him around the locker room, and I speak to him and say hi to him, and he responds. And, you know, he's a joker, he's a good guy. And I feel like if I was the owner and I paid guys that much money as he paid them, they don't produce, I'd get rid of them too. So I like the kind of person he is.
You have a real treat in playing with someone like Steinbrenner, and then Jerry Glanville's in town.
Oh man, it's just like I got the two boss men of the year, don't I?
I'm telling you.
He is the coach. If Primetime had to be a coach, he is the coach Primetime, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, the type of ball that he plays works to your advantage. Instead of being the conservative zone, as it was last year with Marion Campbell, that one-on-one primetime shine time.
One-on-one is you against me, and the cream of the crop will rise to the top. And I love that kind of football. So if anybody gets beat out there, you know who it is, instead of sitting back in that zone. And this might be the space there, the corner, nobody never knows. But I love the kind of ball Coach Campbell's teaching right now. You
guard someone like Jerry Rice during the fall. And then last weekend, you're at the plate facing Nolan Ryan.
Oh, Lord, that's a big turnaround there. Both of the guys are outstanding, and you don't know how you're going to approach it. But baseball is so mental. It's two totally different concepts. So you can't compare those two at all.
When do you ever practice baseball? I mean, you get out there and you play like you do, and I don't know, when do you actually have a chance to get out there and work?
I really don't. I was nervous going to spring training because I hadn't picked up a bat since the Seattle game of last year. And it just, you know, things come a lot easier for me than other people, but I really have to work at this game of baseball. It's a really tough game, and no one has accomplished it fully. You know, you could fail 7 out of 10 times and you're still a star.
Everybody's always bringing up about the Bo Jackson bit and stuff. Are the comparisons still made? Or have you talked with Bo at all?
I never even met the guy, and I received some bad, you know, Bo's this, Bo's that. He said this, he said that, and we never have really officially met. And I really admire everything he does, and I really just want to meet him because, you know, I'm on the field during a baseball game, and I can hear the crowd, Bo this, Bo that, prime time this, prime. I just wonder, do he hear some of the same comparisons?
So all this has been done through the press. You've never actually...
I really don't understand it because you only have really 2 athletes in America who is really doing that to this extent. And the press have manipulated one of them in a manner to have it like a little rivalry. And I really don't think that's fair to neither one of us.
So how do you characterize your relationship with the media?
It's a seesaw. I characterize it as a seesaw. Because when prime time's rolling, you know, everyone want to get a piece of it. You want to get on it, you know, just like a bandwagon. But soon as one little thing goes wrong, you know, he's done this, he's done that, he's done that. And they put the, you know, I wear black hats all the time, so they really put the black hat on me to make me out to be a bad guy.
Now, I know that you gave Gucci watches to your teammates. I know that you gave money to different charities. Were you hiding that in that you weren't, or was the media just chose not to mention that?
The media don't print stuff like that, you know, just like, just like on Christmas. I never mentioned, after our game, I didn't play in the last game. I went down to all the homeless and just got a whole bunch of, you know, a few $100s worth of $1 bills and just gave a few dollars to every person I seen outside on each of the homeless places. And stuff like that is not mentioned about me. The grown-up people who really get on me, they really get on me. The older people who they had their chance, they just, you know, kind of frustrated because I'm doing it and making it, and I'm a black man and I'm talking about it. You know, I could relate. You know, I'm no fool, you know, for nobody. You know, but the little kids, they're the future for us.
Well, I mean, I can see I like this prime time. I enjoy the old prime time, but this is something. This is new.
Well, we're gonna do a lot this year. Hopefully, I'm expecting big things out of this 1990. I'm expecting a lot of big things out of 1990.
Well, you already have a big thing starting off in 1990.
I can't compare no touchdown or no home run or no dunk in basketball to this. This is something that, this is mine.
Boy.
This is Miss Prime Time.
Enough said, enough said.
The world's most accurate weather radar data is gathered by the WSI Corporation using the reliable 800 service of US Sprint, the network that came through Hugo when AT&T did not.
Let's get that image up. The networks are waiting for the feed.
And if Sprint's nationwide fiber optic network can handle the moods of Mother Nature,
The front of this hurricane should miss us.
it can handle any business climate. Reliable all fiber optic 800 service only from US Sprint.
If you're thinking about buying a Camry or an Accord, think about this. The Nissan Stanza has a more powerful standard engine. It's got more standard features inside and out, and it costs just $11,650. The 1990 Nissan Stanza. Either we're overachievers or they're overpriced. Take the Nissan Stanza challenge. Test drive a Stanza. If you still buy a Camry or an Accord, we'll give you $100. Look at that car.
Are these the international rules?
For a word he knows.
He's going for a two-syllable word. Ladies and gentlemen. Europe. 426. It's a continent.
Let's stick with one-syllable words. He's fine.
Hold your hand right there. Okay. Mumbly peg. Mumbly peg with darts.
Levi's 100% cotton Dockers. If they're not Dockers, they're just pants.
You guys have any food?
Dun, dun,
Killer shark.
dun, dun.
I think you should go back
Do
to
you think the wave needs words?
TA Tires.
BF Goodrich TA Tires perform like great athletic shoes. They grab. They dig. They give you control.
BF Goodrich TA Tires.
BF Goodrich TA Tires, the athletic shoes for your car.
BF Goodrich TA Tires.
I'm Mike Levin, president of Days Inns. As a desk clerk 30 years ago, I discovered what people really want in a hotel. A great room at a great price from people who care. Today, that's helped make us the best hotel value in the world, with pools, restaurants, and meeting rooms at over 1,000 locations worldwide.
Yeah, let me help you with these.
Nice young man.
Spend a night at Days and wake up to the best hotel value in the world.
Well, there is learned insight and intuition and gut feelings and computer printouts. It's all part of Draft Day in the National Football League.
Each year, the draft acquires its own storylines, its own characters, and this draft no different. ESPN covered the first 6.5 hours live. What did it mean? Here's Chris Berman and company.
All right, guys, thank you. And summing up the early rounds of the 1990 draft, of course, we really shouldn't do it for 3 or 4 years, but since we have the time tonight, let's do it. Mel, who do you like? Who bothers you?
I really like what the Jets did. I think, this is a team that came in needing a running back, and Blair Thomas, the obvious choice. Then come back and get Reggie Rembert, who will combine with Altoon to form an unstoppable combination once the supporting cast improves there with the Jets. And then in round 3, get that cornerback that they need to replace Bobby Humphrey and go along with Hasty and Tony Stargell from Tennessee State. Steinberg did a nice job in his first draft with the Jets. The Raiders, they gamble with Anthony Smith and they gamble with Aaron Wallace when they could have had Lamar Lathan, then come back with Mark Spindler. So I agree with the positions the Raiders went after, but the players, I think I might have gone a different route.
Joe, you're all excited about the silver stretch.
Oh, yeah, I think we saw the run in Detroit last year. Now they got the shoot with Andre Ware. I think Andre Ware makes Detroit's draft a complete plus. They also picked up Mark Spindler in the 3rd round. Now, here's a guy who's going to come in with an attitude because he's going to want to prove a lot to a lot of people. So the silver stretch is definitely going to be something to reckon with. I still got a problem with Indianapolis's trade. Has nothing to do with Jeff George. I think he's a fine quarterback. I think that Indianapolis just has given up a little bit too much to try and get one player.
Tommy, who really helped themselves?
Well, Coach Parcells, obviously, in areas that he specifically needed. He got the good running back, do-all running back, Rodney Hampton, that he needed. Mike Fox in the defensive line. And then Green Bay, I thought, improved overall. They got the bookend linebacker to go with Timmy Harris, Tony Bennett. They get Darrell Thompson, the running back, and then they get Leroy Butler to give them the help in the secondary that they needed.
I'm looking Sun Belt. Of course, Atlanta, in evaluating the draft, you have to figure in Ryson and Hinton, who they got in the trade for Jeff George. Then they get a running back, Steve Broussard. So they're really going to all of a sudden come at people on offense. And then they had Connor and Barnett on a defense that maybe with Andre Bruce being loose, they can all of a sudden make a quantum leap, although they're in a tough division. Let's hear it for Ray Perkins. He may be on the hot seat a little bit this year at Tampa Bay, but he didn't shrug his shoulders or get scared when an Atlanta Constitution report said that Keith McCants might have to sit out the whole year because of impending knee surgery. He went with McCants, who may be the best player in this draft when it's all said and done, and then he shows some major guts by going with Reggie Cobb, a running back who, if he's over his drug problems, running back junior from Tennessee, he could just be a load and be a big, big contributor for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But the thing about the draft is, we'll have to wait and see. That's our observations from early on in the 1990 draft. Let's go back now to Bob and Dan. And Bobby, we missed you here. I want you to know that.
Yeah, thanks, Chris.
You're a little misty-eyed there.
I was. It was the first one in 11 years I've missed.
Bob and I will be back. We won't miss golf or auto racing, and we'll take a look at Earth Day from a different perspective.
Bill Patrick finding some athletes who are looking to conserve. Earth Day, 1990.
What's the best brokerage account for an active investor? Ask a Schwab customer.
With my Schwab One asset management account, my money's never idle. When I sell a stock or I get a dividend, my cash instantly starts earning income. And it keeps on earning until I make my next investment.
When I need to get to my cash or take out a loan, I just use my Schwab Visa or write a check. Schwab One makes it easy.
All my financial moves are right here. And one simple statement. Now, you might expect to pay a lot of money for an account this handy, and not with Schwab One. There's no monthly fee. Now, that's real value.
To get your free booklet and an application for the Schwab One Asset Management account, call toll-free 800-848-8900. That's 800-848-8900. Call now for your free Schwab One booklet.
This portion of SportsCenter, along with the latest tennis news, is sponsored by Moet Champagne, France's best-loved champagne.
Welcome back. Monica Seles is keeping her itinerary separate from that of Steffi Graf, and it's given her a nice little run this spring. Sunday in Largo, Florida, the 16-year-old Yugoslavian winning her third consecutive tournament. Rather tidy, 54 minutes, won and loved destruction of Bulgarian Katerina Maleva. Monica is now ranked third in the world. She's won 15 straight matches. She lost no points on her first serve. Steve Elkington, he made his name at the University of Houston on a couple of national championship teams in the mid-'80s, but back home in Australia, they barely know him. Maybe now they'll start learning his name. An Aussie on Tobacco Road, coming from way back today in the Greater Greensboro Open, and unlike the first 3 rounds, no wins today. On 14, your leader was Jeff Sluman with a nice approach. He would par from about 20 feet away and stay at 6 under, but Elkington was making his move. Look at this putt. From the fringe to the green, to the fringe, back to the green. He would stay at 4 under and on to 17. Elkington, who has not missed a cut this year, with a birdie, goes to 5 under, while Sluman had his problems on 16. This is a birdie that slides just by wide. Sluman at 4 under par. And Elkington was in early with a 66, the low round of the tournament. And you know what? It stood up. 31 on the back nine, a 66 wins it. He came from 7 shots back, the same way that Greg Norman did to win the Doral. Earnings this year for Elkington taking a $225,000 juice to nearly $350,000 on the year. The team of Charles Coody and Dale Douglas teaming for a better ball score of 66 on Sunday, and the easy 7-stroke win over Al Geiberger and Harold Henning. This in the Legends of Golf tournament in Austin, Texas. Coody and Douglas splitting $140,000.
Al Unser Jr. said he did it right this time. Last year, Unser created a bit of controversy when he bumped aside Mario Andretti en route to a victory in the Long Beach Grand Prix. Unser, who had 9 career victories, was on the pole and in position to win this event for the 3rd straight year, which he did. He won by 1.7 seconds over Fittipaldi. Unser Jr. led 91 of the 95 laps, averaging 84 miles per hour, and he picked up $143,000. Brett Bodine captured the first Union 400 at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Bodine passed Darrell Waltrip on lap 318, never looked back, and he won this race from the 20th position. Now, you may think the only correlation between athletes and Earth Day is a pro trying to recycle his career, but as Bill Patrick reports, there are some athletes who were brought down to earth by this anniversary.
It is not a pretty sight, but it is real, and it's happening all around us. And on Sunday, hoping to reverse that ugly and deadly trend, millions of people all over the planet took part in the 20th anniversary of Earth Day.
Prior to 1970, we were concerned about saving wilderness areas, but nobody had really focused on industrial pollution, toxic waste, DDT. And the environmental movement changed because of Earth Day.
Question: what do this, and this have in common with this? Well, more than you might think. And really, that's what Earth Day is all about. It's designed to make us think about a topic that affects each and every one of us. You, me, and people that fill arenas like this around the country every single day.
When the public's more aware of issues, then people become more concerned, and maybe government will help out and become more concerned about it as well.
Of course, it's one thing to talk about environmental reform. Plenty of athletes are doing just that these days. But it's another thing entirely to get up and do something about it.
Don't junk it, slam dunk it, recycle.
Earth Day doesn't mean that much to me because I try to support, I do what I try to do for the Earth every day of my life. I'm very concerned. I'm very environmentally concerned. I think that, unfortunately, the last 8-9 years have been an environmental disaster for the United States. The leadership we had hasn't been good. People have got to start getting more concerned about what's happening now, because when it's gone, it's gone. People forget that.
And those who know McHale know that he is motivated. So too is Paxson, although he admits that he wasn't until he learned more about recycling. And they're hoping that that sincerity and celebrity will in turn help to motivate others.
People listen to sports figures, they listen to celebrities. It's important that those people that are in a position, in a public position, do help whichever way they can. And if they truly believe that the environment is important, then they should be out there saying to save the environment.
I think this means something to me just because, I've got kids, and I realize that that this world is theirs, and, I want to make sure that it's around for them when they get older.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Amy, I hear your new teacher's real mean.
Amy, would you come up here and bring your picture with you, please?
Look at the picture.
There's a special power that can bring students and teachers closer together. The power to be your best.
Hey, how's your new teacher? Oh, she's okay.
With springtime foam, it's like everything happens at once. There's no end to the stuff you got to do.
Right, John. Heavy-duty Ace work gloves are just $2.88 a pair, and Ace long-handled shovels and rakes are $5.97 each.
Hey, no matter what you're doing this weekend, Ace is the place for you.
The high-speed fender-banging battles of a short track make it anyone's race.
And both of them spin!
And Jeff Bodine takes the lead. NASCAR's first Union 400, Monday night, only on ESPN.
It is that crossover season with basketball and hockey fighting for the headlines with baseball, but here on SportsCenter, no fighting whatsoever.
Never. Plenty of time and space for our equal opportunity video trip through the strange and the supernatural and the simply super, the plays of the week. We have assembled a face full of surprises. You can run, but you can't hide. So kick back and relax. Enter and sign in, please. That's PLAYSO. Oh, you know the rest. The sign said no cheering in the press box. Nobody told Gary Thorne anything about singing.
Well, I'm the type of guy who will never settle down. Yeah, I'm only girls eye. Well, you know that I'm around. I kiss them and I love them, 'cause to me they're all the same. I hug them and I squeeze them. They don't even know my name. They call me the Wanderer. Yeah, the Wanderer. I go around, 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 around.
And our Sky Dome accommodations and accompaniment.
Canada's version of Bobby Darin. Splish, splash, I was watching the Blue Jays.
These plays aren't all wet. Lonnie Smith, Will the Thrill, and Jose Lean. While Ron Kittle gives this ball a Comiskey ride up and out. Danny Ainge with a severe degree of difficulty. Mitchell Wiggins with a severe headache. And Byron Scott looking for Nicholson's lady friend. Now, some foul deeds. Now, some fantastic ones. Edgar Diaz. And the Twins' Greg Gagne. An off-balance Ozzie Guillen. George Brett a little low on pine tar. Ruben Sierra a little high on energy. And even on the links, there lurks the baseball fantasy and a worm homicide in the making. Back at the ballpark, no truth to the rumor, by the way, the Red Sox are throwing her Tuesday. Nah, that's just a tall tale. And this, from the Lions' Eddie Murray, is our parting shot.
ESPN's Plays of the Week are brought to you by Coldwell Banker, the home sellers. We take the mystery out of finding and financing a home. Call today.
It's here at last, the Coldwell Banker Spring Open House. This weekend, thousands of homes in neighborhoods across America will be open for you to see. Come, and you'll get our exclusive Best Buyer guidebook that tells you all about finding and financing your home. So hurry, and we'll not only open the doors for you, we'll help you get the key. Coldwell Banker. Expect the best. A member of the Sears Financial Network.
Hello, I'm Mike Levin, president of Days Inns, with a business proposition for you. Say you're traveling, concerned about expense, but still want a great room. What do? You stay at Days. Here you'll find big, clean, comfortable rooms, good restaurants, relaxing lounges, and no high prices. It's simple. If you want the best hotel value, you'll stay at Days. If you don't, you won't.
Spend a night at Days and wake up to the best hotel value in the world.
Bob and Al aren't happy with their pressure-treated decks.
Mine's new, but it looks green. Mine looks gray and worn out.
And they both need a water repellent. New woven raincoat with natural wood toner made them both happy.
Got rid of the green, gives me a natural wood tone, and keeps the water out. I used Woolman Deck Brightener first, then Woolman Toner. Now mine looks just as good as his. Great looks and water protection.
Here are some of the stories we will be following on Monday's editions of SportsCenter. The NHL playoffs continue. The Rangers and Capitals. Boston looking for its third win against Montreal. In baseball, the Pirates try for their fifth in a row when they meet up with the Cardinals. And it's Bo and the O's. Bo Jackson, his first home run of the season on Sunday.
I know you've got the VCR set because next up, Monster Truck Challenge. I'm Bob Lee.
I wanted to say that. I'm Dan Patrick. Good night.
SportsCenter is brought to you by Days Inns, Hotels, Suites, and Day Stops, the best hotel values in the world. And by the Woolman Wood Protection People, the first name for decks that last.